We will knowingly or unknowingly, we will use linkers in our sentences. It will just help you to build your vocabulary basically. Read the paragraph or the passage first and then take up the answers. Try to mix and match and you will get the right answers for sure. So be careful while choosing the right linkers and filling the blanks. Hello, hi, namaste and welcome to Vidhyaashram, the Temple of Excellence. I am Nanda Kishore, Faculty of English in Vidhyaashram, Mysuru. In my previous session, I had discussed about active and passive voice and their usage in the sentences. And in today's session, I am going to talk about linkers and I will be discussing what are linkers and how they will be used in sentences and for how many marks it will be questioned in your final examination. So let us start with linkers. So what are linkers basically? Linkers are the words that relate one idea. It could be one idea or ideas or sentence or sentences of the text with other. In simple, linkers are the words which will be connected to frame a complete sentence and to give a meaning to the sentence. Linkers help us establish our ideas explicitly, or it could be to establish or to express as well. They make it easy for us to compare, contrast, illustrate, define and summarize our thoughts and develop a coherent paragraph. It could be a paragraph, it could be a line, or it could be any sentence. While speaking to somebody or while expressing your ideas or thoughts, we will knowingly or unknowingly, we will use linkers in our sentences. And linkers in simple are nothing but joining words. They are not a sort of conjunctions, though they are joining words. They are not completely conjunctions, but they are used to express the ideas and to give the meaningful sentences to the readers or the listeners or from the speakers to anybody. Look at the linkers in this sentence now. So this is in your workbook in 2nd PUC. My mother, and this entire paragraph is taken from, I believe that books will never disappear. This conversation is between the author and the interviewer. My mother was an extraordinary person, and you need to observe, these are the linkers, and I should speak above all of her kindness towards me. But, observe the underlined words, but I will tell you a secret of mine because I feel somewhat guilty for not having been a happy man in order to have given her a deserved happiness. Therefore, I feel I should have been more understanding of her. Try to observe the linkers here, these bold and underlined words. Just think for a moment what would happen, or will this sentence or will this paragraph give you a meaning without the linkers? Try to read without those words and think whether the sentence or the paragraph seems complete. Let us read skipping these linkers and let us see how well the paragraph is framed. My mother was an extraordinary person. I should speak above all of her kindness towards me. I will tell you a secret of mine. I feel somewhat guilty for not having been a happy man. Have given her a deserved happiness. I feel I should have been more understanding of her. Though it almost seems complete, something is missing. That something is called linkers. They give more meaning to the sentence while speaking to others. That is why we make use of linkers, which are nothing but conjunctions. In Kannada, if I have to use these words in Kannada, hagagi, yakendre, astagyu kuda, so we use multiple words. Nani exam alli fail ade, yake anta helidre, why? Because. So because is linker here. Yake anta helidre, I was sick, nange husharirilla. So that is why we use linkers. Nan exam alli fail ade, nange husharirilla. I could have used it, but in order to stress the context while speaking to the reader or while speaking to the listener, we use these linkers to enhance the meaning of the following sentences. That is why we use linkers, and it gives more weightage to the sentences while framing. The linkers and their functions. As I told you, yake anta helidre agagiyu kuda bartidru kuda. So these are the linkers in Kannada, right? And in English, we have a lot of linkers and they have function to perform in the sentences. So what are the functions they will perform? Try to read it here. Can you identify the function of the underlined words and mention them in the space given below? If you observe the previous sentence, try to see these words which are in bold and underlined. And the same thing is just followed here. So these are the linkers which we just spoke in the previous paragraph. And there is an activity given in your workbook and it says, try to observe these linkers and try to mention the function here. What are the functions basically? They will have function. What is and? And is nothing but addition. And is addition. Its function is addition. Let's say if I make a sentence, Raju and his friends were swimming in the pool. I am using and as a joining word, addition. Raju and his friends. I am clubbing both of them and I'm using the word and as an addition. Both of them along with friends, Raju was swimming in the pool. What about but here? But is condition. Condition, let's say your parents will give you permission to go for a movie, right? You can go and watch a movie, but there is a condition, but you have to be back home before 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. But is condition. What is because? Because is giving a reason. As I told you, I scored 100 out of 100 in English because I had studied thoroughly, because my parents were very supportive. You are giving a reason saying that you have scored 100% in your second PUC board examination. So that is giving a reason. In order to, what is this? In order to, it is purpose. There is a purpose. In order to score more marks, purpose, there is a purpose. In order to score more marks in your examination, you have to study hard. Work hard and you can reap the reward. Study hard, and in order to score more marks, what you have to do? You have to study hard. Therefore, what is therefore? Therefore is result, conclusion. You had studied hard, therefore you scored good marks. You are giving conclusion. So you have scored good marks, and necessarily not be you can use all of these or any of these in the same sentence and in the same context. These linkers could be replaced with other linkers as well. There are a lot of linkers which gives the same function. It necessarily not be only and with addition and but with only condition. There are a lot of linkers which substitute these linkers mentioned here. If these words are missing, you can see that the paragraph does not convey the right meaning. As I told you, if these words mentioned here are missing, then the paragraph which we read in the previous slide will not convey the right meaning. So these are few linkers and the function. What are the functions they have here? So if you observe, there are a lot of linkers put on the board and there are a lot of functions here. So try to observe the linkers and their functions. So let us see what are the functions and the linkers. Addition, as I told you, addition necessarily not be only and. There are a lot of linkers along with them. And also besides, moreover, similarly, then what is more, such as in addition to, next. So time, when, while, as soon as, before, after, till, until, eventually, as long as, since. Place, after, where, wherever. Reason or cause, because, as, that, since. Purpose, in order, that, in order to, so that, lest. Result, so, such, consequently, in conclusion, as result, in all, thus, finally. Concession, though, although, even if, however. Manner, as if, as though. comparison, as, then, not, so as, condition, if, unless, supposing, and there are a lot of linkers apart from these as well. These are the linkers which I have just taken from the workbook which is prescribed in your syllabus. There are a lot many linkers. If you surf in the Google, you will find lot many and lot more. Make use of them. Try to pick each one of the linkers and try to frame a sentence, or you can just take a newspaper and underline the linkers. However you read it, you just try to underline the linkers. That is very good method to improve your vocabulary. So while I'm teaching in class, while I'm talking to my students, this is what I tell them. Very easy method to pick up your English is to read the newspaper. I know most of the students, they don't like reading newspaper, but trust me, believe me, when you start reading newspaper, your grammar, your English vocabulary will eventually pick up. You pick up a pen or a pencil and take a grammatical concept. Let's say you have taken up linkers today. While reading newspaper, what you have to do is try to underline all the linkers. I'm not asking you to read the entire newspaper and underline the linkers. Just take a paragraph or two and try to underline the linkers. So what is the purpose of it? You will improve grammar. It will help you to develop your knowledge. It will help you to put your answers in your examination. It will just help you to build your vocabulary basically. Try doing it. You can definitely develop your vocabulary. So how are they used? Now we got to know what are linkers. How are they used in sentences? So let us see. I have just taken 4 simple sentences and I'm going to explain it in a simple way why linkers are useful and how they are used in sentences. So what is basically a clause? What is a clause basically? There are clauses and phrases. So clauses is nothing but a sentence. It is necessarily not be a sentence, but with a verb and subject. It will have subject and verb. And phrase is incomplete usually without subject. So keep this in mind. So we're going to use it along with clause plus conjunction. This conjunction is nothing but linkers. Keep them in mind. Clause plus conjunction plus clause. Let us see. I was exhausted. So is conjunction here. We are talking about conjunction or linkers. I stayed at home. So I is subject, stayed is verb. As I told you, clause is nothing but a sentence, and necessarily not be a sentence, but a sentence which has a subject and a verb. Try to observe this sentence. It has 2 clauses and 1 conjunction. Conjunction is a linking word. So I stayed home. This is giving a complete meaning to the reader. When I say I was exhausted, I am too exhausted. I was so exhausted. So I am exhausted. So what did I do? I stayed at home. I could not go outside. Maybe I could not attend a wedding party or I could not attend some function. So I stayed at home. I was exhausted. I stayed at home. It is complete. If I just write this complete sentence using full stop, removing so, even then it is correct, but it doesn't convey the right message. Why did you stay home? Because I was exhausted. Look at the second sentence. As I told you, we can use clause plus linkers plus clause, and in some sentences we can begin the sentence with the conjunctions or the linkers. Conjunction plus clause. Although I was tired, you are talking to your friend and you're telling him, although I was tired, I went for a walk. Although tired agidru kuda is conjunction here. It is linkers. Those are linkers I'm talking about. Nange tired agidru kuda is although. It is nothing but although. Although I was tired, I went for a walk. Why? Because I want to keep my body fit and healthy. I want to remain healthy. Sentence plus adverbial plus sentence. Let me read out the sentence here. It was a stormy afternoon and weather forecasted a heavy rainfall. This is a sentence here. Nevertheless, adverbial. Nevertheless, we decided to go for a walk. Nevertheless, it's a linker here. Nevertheless, ಮಳೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ nevertheless ಬಂದರೂ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, it's okay, no issues. Nevertheless, we decided to go for a walk. So this is how we are going to make use of linkers while framing sentences. So these are the exercises that I've taken from the workbook. Let us try and solve them. Fill in the blanks with appropriate linkers given in the brackets. Aesop. If you don't know who is Aesop, Aesop is a Greek fable writer, story writer. Aesop is a figure clouded in so much mystery and legend. Now there are linkers given at the bottom of your textbook. Below every paragraph, below every exercise, there are few linkers. Answers will be given below and you need to choose them and fill in the blanks. So this will be the same sort of question which will be asked in your examination, public examination, for 4 marks. Linkers will be asked for 4 marks and the options will be lying below. Aesop is a figure clouded in so much mystery and legend. So there are 4 options here: because, that, what, when. So the answer is that. It is difficult to know. That is already done. That. What can be said? What can be said about him? It is also strange to believe that. We have used that twice because there are 5 blanks and there are only 4 options. That this world famous man was born a slave in the 16th century BC. Next, when slaves were bought and sold frequently, Aesop's Greek master gave him liberty because he was impressed by his learning and wit. Let us see the second one. Alok was happy. So there are a lot of options here. Happy when he was selected to take part in the car race. He gladly went where the race was to take place. He was given a car kit. When and where is done. Only 3 options are left. He was given a car kit so that, why? So that he could build the body of the car using small pieces of wood. Alok asked Abhi if a wood, if is also replaced with whether he would help him or if he would help him. Abhi refused. However, it doesn't matter whether Abhi accepted or not. However, Alok did not give up. He set out to make the car. However is done, if is done. So this is how you're going to make use of linkers and fill in the blanks. Try to read in examination. Don't be in a hurry. I am fill in the blanks the moment I start reading here. But you, being the students, try to take your time. Don't be in a hurry. The moment you start reading, if you feel that any of these answers would fill in to any of the blanks, don't start writing. What you have to do is, in order to write the answers neatly, or in order to present your answers neatly in the answer script, you have to read the passage first. Read the paragraph or the passage first and then take up the answers. Try to mix and match and you will get the right answers for sure. Those students who want to score 95 and above, you have to take time to fill in the blanks, because your answer script will be taken into consideration. If you start writing it and if you think that this answer is wrong and you cannot scribble it, you can scribble, but the thing is neatness should be maintained in order to score 100% in your examination. Keep this in mind while writing examination. So we are going to solve this question using the same trick I told you now. What are we going to do first? We are going to read the paragraph first and then solve the question. Eating soup in Japan is more dangerous than anything else. Remember, this question is taken from Japan and Brazil through a traveler's eye. And in your examination, most of the questions, it could be the linkers, it could accept from paragraph, passage. Remember that passage or comprehension. Apart from that, 99% of the questions will be taken from your textbook. That is the reason why the teachers ask you to read the textbook. The student who reads the textbook thoroughly will definitely score 95 plus in English. This is guaranteed. Eating soup in Japan is more dangerous than anything else. Dash. Eating soup, one must make a fearful noise as it is a sign of appreciation. Dash. A European who tries to make such a noise will be considered an ill-mannered lout. It is not liked by the Japanese hostess. One must be careful in Japan if he or she is offered soup. And there are options given: while, because, therefore, however. And how many blanks are there? There are exactly 4 blanks. So let us reread it and fill in the blanks. Eating soup in Japan is more dangerous than anything else. Full stop. So which will suit here? Eating soup, one must make a fearful noise. So which is the suitable answer here? While, because, therefore, however. Therefore, eating soup, it doesn't give. While, yes, while. When is that? While you are eating soup or drinking soup, while eating soup, one must make a fearful noise as it is a sign of appreciation. Now, while is done. Because a European who tries to make such a noise will be considered an ill-mannered lout. However, remember this, however, you can make the noise while eating soup, but however, remember this, anybody can make the noise while drinking or eating soup, but the European is exceptional. However, he says, however, a European who tries to make such a noise will be considered an ill-mannered lout because, right? Why? Because it is not liked by the Japanese hostess. So therefore, one must be careful in Japan if he or she is offered soup. This is the question which is asked in the examination 2020, and they have asked for 4 marks, and each blank will carry 1 mark. There will be 4 options and there will be 4 blanks. There could be more answers for less blanks. For instance, if there are only 4 blanks, there could be 5 or 6 answers. Be careful with it. At times, they intentionally give it for confusing. They are going to confuse you a lot at times. So be careful while choosing the right linkers and filling the blanks. So let us start solving this. Fill in the blanks with the right linkers. A dramatic Chipko movement took place in the Himalayan village of Advani in 1977 when a village woman named Bachni Devi led resistance against her own husband who had obtained a contract to cut trees. Her involvement in ecology with what? With Chipko, that was taking place in the Himalayan region. That was taking place in the Himalayan region. So that is how you are going to answer the questions in your examination. As I told you, we are thorough with the answers. We go on answering immediately. At times, you might think that the answer is correct. The answer what you are writing in the examination paper might be correct. That is what you think. But don't be in a hurry. Cross-verify it couple or more times, because even a single mark would mean a lot at times. So that is the reason I ask my students to go slow with grammatical parts. While answering, you will be having a flow of writing. You will be in a complete process of thinking and only writing it. But when it comes to answering in grammatical parts for 50 marks, remember, for 50 marks, you have to take more time. Here, just within a fraction of a second or a minute, you can score 1 mark. But when in answer and question and answer section, you have to think about writing the complete sentence. Maybe you have to think about writing 8 to 10 sentences in order to score 4 marks. But here, you may have to think about 2 minutes. Just think about 2 minutes and fill in the blanks. Think about it. I'm telling you again and again, just taking more time to solve these kind of questions will fetch you more marks. So that is it for today, and in my next session I am going to talk about pronouns, which will be tested in your final examination. Until then, keep practicing whatever I have taught in the previous sessions. I will be meeting you in the next session with pronouns, as I have told you. Until then, have a good day. Take care.